Princess Lyra of the Valerian Empire had faced countless diplomatic challenges across 3 star systems, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. The human soldier standing before her in the neutral station's docking bay defied every expectation. Her people held about the mysterious species from Earth. The Valerians were ethereal beings, tall and graceful with luminescent blue skin that shifted like aurora patterns across their forms. Their culture prized composure above all else, viewing emotional displays as primitive and undignified. Lyra had mastered this art from childhood, maintaining perfect serenity even during the most heated Galactic Council sessions. But Sergeant Emma Walsh was different from any being she had encountered. The human stood barely 5.5 feet tall, her brown hair pulled back in a practical ponytail, wearing standard Earth Defense Force armor that bore the scars of countless battles. Where Valerian warriors moved with fluid grace, this soldier possessed a compact strength that spoke of endurance rather than elegance. Her green eyes held depths that seemed to see straight through Lyra's carefully constructed diplomatic facade. "Your Highness," Emma said, offering a respectful bow that somehow managed to convey both military precision and genuine respect without the flowery genuflections Lyra was accustomed to receiving. Lyra felt her bioluminescent patterns flicker involuntarily before she caught herself. This was highly improper. A Valerian royal never displayed such loss of control, especially in front of an alien species her people barely understood. "Sergeant Walsh," Lyra replied, her voice carrying the melodic tones typical of her species, but with an unusual tremor she hoped went unnoticed. "I trust your journey from the frontier sectors was uneventful." Emma's mouth quirked upward in what Lyra recognized as a human smile. The expression was foreign to Valerian physiology, yet something about its warmth made Lyra's chest feel strangely tight. "Eventful enough, ma'am. 3 pirate raids and a diplomatic incident with some very upset Christine merchants, but nothing we couldn't handle." Emma's casual tone when discussing combat operations fascinated Lyra. Where Valerians approached warfare with solemn ceremony, humans seemed to treat danger as merely another part of their routine. The princess had requested this meeting after studying intelligence reports about human military effectiveness. The data was staggering. In the 2 years since first contact, humanity had gone from a single-planet species to a significant military force, not through superior technology or ancient wisdom, but through sheer stubborn determination and an unsettling willingness to throw themselves into impossible situations. "I confess curiosity about your tactical approaches," Lyra said, leading Emma toward the station's observation deck. "Our military advisors struggle to understand human strategy. Your forces seem to operate on principles that contradict accepted military doctrine." Emma chuckled, a sound that sent unexpected vibrations through Lyra's nervous system. "We call it thinking outside the box, Your Highness. Sometimes the best strategy is the one nobody expects because it's completely insane." They paused before the massive viewport overlooking the nebula where the Battle of Kepler Station had taken place 6 months earlier. Human forces had held this position against overwhelming odds while evacuating civilian populations from 3 colony worlds. "During the siege here," Lyra ventured, "your Captain Jessica Martinez held position for 18 hours against a fleet 3 times her size. Valerian tactical computers calculated her chances of survival at less than 2%. "Jessie's always been good at math," Emma replied with evident pride. "She probably calculated those odds herself and decided they were better than abandoning those colonists." The casual way Emma spoke of accepting near-certain death for strangers struck Lyra profoundly. Valerian culture emphasized survival and preservation of their ancient bloodlines. The concept of sacrificing oneself for unknown beings was theoretically admirable, but practically incomprehensible. "Does this not frighten you?" Lyra asked, her composure slipping slightly as genuine curiosity overcame diplomatic protocol. "The willingness to face such odds?" Emma turned to study the princess, her expression growing serious. "Everything frightens me, Your Highness. The difference is what we do despite being afraid." She gestured toward the nebula. "Those colonists had kids, elderly folks, people who couldn't fight for themselves. Being scared doesn't make running away the right choice." Lyra's bioluminescence flickered again, more prominently this time. She was beginning to understand why human military effectiveness seemed so impossible to predict. They operated on emotional imperatives rather than pure logic, making decisions that computer models couldn't anticipate because the models couldn't account for irrational compassion. "Your species continues to surprise us," Lyra admitted. "Valerian philosophers have debated the nature of courage for millennia. We define it as the absence of fear in the face of duty." "With respect, Your Highness, that sounds more like fearlessness." "Then courage," Emma replied. "Courage is being terrified and doing what's right anyway. It's choosing to care about something more than your own safety." The observation struck Lyra like a physical blow. In that moment, she realized her own fear wasn't of combat or political failure, but of the strange emotions this human soldier evoked in her. Emma's presence challenged everything Lyra had been taught about proper deportment and emotional control. "I find myself reconsidering many assumptions," Lyra said quietly, her formal speech patterns softening. "Perhaps there is wisdom in allowing oneself to feel deeply, even when such feelings create vulnerability." Emma stepped closer, close enough that Lyra could detect the subtle warmth radiating from human physiology. "Vulnerability isn't weakness, Princess. It's what makes connections possible. How can you truly trust someone who never lets you see who they really are?" The question hung between them like a challenge. Lyra realized that behind Emma's easy manner lay profound understanding. This soldier had seen enough combat to know that genuine bonds between comrades meant the difference between survival and death. Trust required authenticity, not perfection. For the first time in her adult life, Princess Lyra of the Valerian Empire allowed her composure to slip completely. Her bioluminescent patterns flowed freely across her skin in complex displays of curiosity, admiration, and something deeper she was only beginning to recognize. Emma smiled again, that warm expression that had initially unsettled Lyra so much. "There you are," the human said softly. "The real person behind all that royal training." Lyra felt her world shift fundamentally. Perhaps humans had more to teach the galaxy than just military tactics. Perhaps their greatest strength wasn't their willingness to fight impossible odds, but their capacity to remain genuinely, vulnerably, completely themselves in the face of the unknown. "Sergeant Walsh," Lyra said, "I believe this partnership between our peoples will prove far more interesting than either of our governments anticipated."